Cyberpunk 2077 was released on December 10th, 2020, but how has the game changed in the 3 years since it's been released? Has it improved, or is it still the same dumpster fire it was when it came out? Let's dive into it and find out for ourselves if the game is now worth the $60 price tag. For this review, I will be playing on PC at a native resolution of 1920 by 1080p with almost all settings maxed out. However, settings such as RTX will not be enabled as it can cause unreliable performance even on highest end machinery. Initially announced back in 2012, Cyberpunk was said to be CDPR's next big thing, a massive open world game set in a futuristic city, and fans were pumped. However, the team behind the game would not start working on it until 2016, as a majority of them were still working on The Witcher 3's Blood and Wine DLC. One very crucial statement by the co-founder impacted how fans viewed the game moving forward, and caused uproar in the community. Here's what was stated. This may be a set of bold statements CDPR's co-founder said in their presentation of the game in 2012, delivering the company's promise of the game. If you don't believe me, look at our Witcher games. We will deliver a truly outstanding futuristic RPG, setting a totally new standard for the genre. It wouldn't be long after the statement was made that the game would enter development hell, as the years leading up to the game's release proved easier said than done. The gameplay that was shown off at E3 2018 was met with praise and flawless reviews, as the game won over 100 awards, including Best Game and Best RPG of the Year. But then COVID-19 came and forced CDPR to switch to a work-from-home environment, which caused the team to be stressed out over the launch window and ultimately leading to the delay of the game to allow the team more time to polish it. The launch window was rescheduled for September 17th, which came and went, and then November 19th, which again came and went, and finally December 10th, 2020. The day the world got its hands on CDPR's next masterpiece, Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk was no stranger to bugs and glitches, as it was riddled with them on day one, and YouTubers all around the world were quick to jump on the train and expose the game for what it really was, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Some of the issues of the game were as follows. Characters were left in T-poses, a marker set by the actors of game in order for animators to know when to cut the sequence of events in a certain event or occasion, faceless characters getting stuck on moving objects, shot enemies in the game would either not die or blows would not register. Physics within the game did not add up. For example, when diving out of a speeding car, as a driver, the car would come to a complete stop instead of maintaining its original speed. The game's massive map was not rendering, invisible enemies, police not reacting to crimes, and so on and so forth. The list goes on, but over the course of 3 years, they were slowly fixed, and I'll explain more as we get into the major updates that the game received. As part of CDPR's promise to deliver us the game we all wanted, they released many updates over the last 3 years. Most of them fixed issues we had with the game, however, none of Year 1 or Year 2 patches ever gave us the content we were looking for. As a result, the game saw a loss of around 90% of its player base by February 2021. When Update 1.5 released, players peaked at 136,000, which was again cut by 80% after only a few short days. It stayed this way for close to a year until Update 2.0 released. The game then saw a peak of 274,000 players, but again was cut down to just 70,000 players after only a few short weeks. These updates were massive as they targeted a majority of the issues we have with the game. Update 1.5 brought various improvements to the game, numerous quests and gameplay fixes, as well as a number of free DLCs. It included the ability to purchase apartments around Night City for a small one-time fee, added the ability to customize your appearance when using mirrors at any of your apartments or safe houses, added new weapons and vehicles, fixed the combat AI, improved crowd behavior, and changed how vehicles handled in the game. But this update isn't all they had up their sleeve. 2.0 added even more features. With this update, we saw a complete overhaul of the game. Police had finally been fixed, vehicle combat was added, more enhancements were made to combat AI, the perk tree was completely changed, armor and perks were no longer tied to the clothing you had on, and everything had to do with cyberware you had installed. This is a massive update, and so I'm unable to cover everything that was changed within this video. When you start a new game, you're asked to choose from 3 different life paths. Nomad is a path that revolves around the story of an outsider, starting their journey in a vast desert-like district outside of Night City called the Badlands. Nomads are scrappy and resourceful people who pride themselves in their strong family dynamics, forming clans that function similar to small communities. The corporal life path is all about holding on to one's own, while navigating around people consumed with money, power, and respect. Corporals begin their adventure in the heart of Night City's business district, also known as the city center, surrounded with sleek and towering skyscrapers with boardrooms of executives shaking hands on the underhanded deals. Street Kid life path is one of someone who is no stranger to the streets of Night City. Their journey begins in Haywood, a large district that borders the corporate landscape of the city center and is home to a majority of the people in Night City. On the surface, they all look like they'll be different stories. However, after a certain point in the game, it's about 4 hours or so, all 3 life paths merge together, and you start to realize that the story is playing an illusion of giving you freedom of choice. This is not to say that the story is in any way bad, as it's not. I'm simply stating that how you choose to start the game has little effect on the outcome of the game at the end of your playtime. I do think the game is finally worth playing. 90% of the bugs have been fixed, and the story is fun and enjoyable from start to finish. The world you play in feels different than what it did when the game first launched, and the inclusion of metro stations with update 2.0 helps fast travel across a massive map. The game looks beautiful and plays very well considering the state it launched in. Which brings me to the score I give this game. After heavy consideration and trying to not bias my opinion off the fact that the game was such a clusterfuck on day one, I'd say Cyberpunk 2077 has enough redeeming qualities about it to warrant people playing it for the first time or picking it up again to play in 2024 while we wait for GTA 6. If you want to see more review videos like this, let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure to do some more.